Brian just arrived too.
Okay, Brian just
I
arrived.
just need to give this to Sharon.
Okay, yeah, Representative Sullivan just arrived. If you don't want to wait a minute for him, please.
That's funny. With apples? Apple sauce, apple cider, or is it?
Yeah,
Yeah?
I bought 150 pounds of apples.
Is that how it goes?
That's like 2 trees, and I still have a 3.
I'm pretty sure I'm using a finite number of dams left and I'm trying not to use them up.
Just sitting waiting.
Oh, gosh, I just have
I might have to throw it back.
I was gonna say, production maybe will keep it up with that.
Hi, Brian.
Oh, you know what?
I completely turned it on, it's not, it's been generated.
I think we have unvaccinated people in here.
I don't know, probably, if they're a mask, I'm just gonna say, be polite and courteous.
Okay. I would like to bring this meeting of the Sullivan County Delegation to order, and would like to begin by asking Representative Kellum to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Representative Kellum. Okay, I would also like now to be also start off, I would like us to stand for a moment of silence for the, it's not on the agenda, but the 13 military personnel who were killed in Afghanistan. First of all, a brief moment of silence for them. Okay. Before we sit down, I would then, as on the agenda, a brief moment of silence for I know the late former county commissioner, I forgot to put former, Donald Clark, who passed away earlier this month. So a brief moment now for him as well, who loyally served this county and area. Okay, thank you. You may all sit down. Okay, I'm going to begin with the introduction of all the delegates and other county officials present. And I would like to begin by turning to Representative Brian Sullivan, please.
Brian Sullivan, Sullivan County, District 1, and that's Grantham, Springfield, Plainfield, and Cornish.
Which way are you going, John? This way?
Okay, yeah, keep going, please, Representative Goff.
Representative Sue Gottling, Sullivan District 2, Sunapee and Croydon.
Representative Gary Merchant, Sullivan County District 4, Ward 2, Claremont, New Hampshire.
Representative Terry Spilsbury, Sullivan District Number 8, Charlestown.
Okay, yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, why don't we start with Representative Stapleton, please?
Representative Walter Stapleton, Sullivan County, District 5, Claremont, Ward 3.
Representative Skip Rollins, District 6, representing Newport and Unity.
Representative Callum, Sullivan District 6, Newport and Unity.
Representative Stephen Smith, Sullivan County District 11, Ackworth, Charlestown, Goshen, Langdon, Leinster, and Washington.
Sullivan County, District 9, representing Plainfield, Cornish, Springfield, Grantham, Croydon, Sunapee, Newport, and Unity.
Again, I'm John Cloutier, representing Sullivan County District 10, the entire city of Clinton, who's chair of the county delegation. I think on Zoom we have 2 members, I think, starting with, I guess, Representative Aaron. Could you introduce yourself, please, and which district you represent?
Thank you. Good evening, delegation. This is Representative Judy Aaron, and I represent Sullivan County District 7, which is Ackworth, Goshen,
Okay.
Langdon.
Oh, sorry. Okay. All right. Okay. I think who else? Representative Oxian was going to zoom in. Is she on?
She is not.
She's not. Okay. All right. So hopefully she will join us shortly. And I know Representative O'Hearn is not here tonight and may come in later, but he'll be running late because he has a city council meeting. Okay, now I want to turn it over to the commissioners to introduce themselves, along with other county officials. So Commissioner George Hebert, if you could begin, please.
County Commissioner George Hebert, representing in Sullivan County.
Okay, and,
Derek Furley.
Commissioner, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Commissioner Joe Osgood zooming in.
Okay, thank you very much, Commissioner. I'm sorry about that. You're zooming in. Is
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson zooming in?
No.
Okay, I don't see him. Okay, go ahead, please, the county attorney, please.
County Attorney Mark Hathaway.
Okay, thank you. And Manager Furlong, I guess you have a special guest. If you could introduce her, please.
I do. Before I do that, Mr. Chair, I'd also like to introduce Ted Purdy, Nursing Home Administrator, is on Zoom. Mary Burke, Facilities Director, also on Zoom. And finally, Dave Barry, the Superintendent of the DOC.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm sorry that oversight. I'm having trouble seeing who's on Zoom.
No problem. Yes, thanks, Mr. Chair. I want to introduce Catherine Miller. She is joining us from Fort Wainwright, Alaska. She is a Department of the Army civilian. So her job, she is the Deputy to the Garrison Commander, which, to put that in civilian speak, she's essentially the Deputy City Manager for an Army installation. She is joining us because she's a fellow as part of ICMA, which is the International City and County Management Association, of which I'm a member, and on the Veterans Advisory Committee. And it was through that capacity that I signed up to be a volunteer host site for the fellows in the Department of the Army's program. And they have a City Manager Senior Fellowship program, and so that's what Catherine was selected to be. So we got paired up as fellow and host, and so since January of this year, we've been participating in a series of Zoom meetings just to do information exchanges and learn more about what each other does in their day jobs. And so that program culminates with a site visit. So she's visiting here this week. She leaves tomorrow to go back to Alaska. So this week she was able to sit in on the Nursing Home Renovation Working Group. Today we toured the Sullivan House for our weekly construction meeting. And so tonight she's here to see how delegation meetings are conducted and broaden her horizons.
Okay, good. Thank you. And thank you very much for introducing Ms. Miller, and welcome to our meeting, Ms. Miller. Okay. If all the introductions are done, I will now go to item number 4 on the agenda, which is the review of the July 27th, 2021 meeting minutes, please. And you should have a copy, a hard copy in front of you. And once you reviewed, I will entertain a motion to approve these meeting minutes.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I make a motion to approve the meetings, the minutes of the meeting of the 27th of July as presented.
Okay, thank you, Representative Stapleton. Do I have a second to Representative Stapleton's motion, please?
I'll second it.
Okay, a second by Representative Rollins. So as I said, there's a motion on the floor by Representative Stapleton, seconded by Representative Rollins, to approve the minutes of the July 27th, 2021 delegation meeting. Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, please, Representative Spilsbury.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to ask for some quick corrections.
Okay. And where is the correction you'd like to make, please?
On page 4.
Page 4.
The second full paragraph beginning Representative Spilsbury pointed out.
Okay.
In the 4th line, the figure that I cited is not 35,000, it's 350,000 per bed.
350,000 per bed. Okay, that's what's your intention. So you want to correct on line 4 the figure, instead of 35,000 per bed, it should be 350,000 per bed. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Does everybody understand that? So, as I said, basically, you would like to correct that. You want to. I just want to be clear. I think there needs to be a motion to amend to correct that, or our deputy speaker. I don't.
Maybe without objection.
Clarify the situation maybe for us.
If, unless there's discussion on the corrections, so amend the motion to accept the minutes with the corrections, and then we just vote on accepting the minutes as amended.
Basically it should be an amendment to correct the minutes.
Yep.
Okay, do I have you will make that motion, Representative Spilsbury? Or?
Excuse me, Representative Smith, were you saying, I've got a couple are you saying?
Oh, you've got
And I
another
don't know if
one, okay, I'm
anybody else
sorry,
has
please
any.
continue,
Yeah, we do them
Representative
all
Spilsbury.
together.
All together, right?
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea, thank you.
So, in the next line, line 5, second to last word, that's some cost. My word was sunk cost.
That's-
S-U-N-K,
Okay, so sunk cost, S-U-N-K,
right,
okay, and rather than some,
right.
all right, okay?
And a third correction is 2, 4, 6, 7 lines from the end of that paragraph in the line that begins reconfigure.
Okay, just a minute, 7 from the end.
And in that line, the third word, lower, I would strike that word. It was not my intention to focus on the lower, it was my intention to focus on the residential floors, which are in fact the second, third, and fourth, so. If we
So
could-
in that line, it says reconfigure the lower residential, and you want to just strike out the word lower? Is
That's
that, as I
correct.
understand you
Yep.
correctly?
Yes, those are
Okay.
my 3 requests.
Those are the 3 corrections you wish to make. Okay, all right, so I will entertain a motion on those corrections.
I move.
Okay, a motion by, who made the motion again? Representative Kellen, I'm sorry, I just want to be clear, and who made the second? Okay, Representative Spilsbury. Okay, are we ready for the vote on this amendment? All those in favor of the correction amendment as,
Point of order, Mr. Chair.
I'm sorry, yes, go ahead.
With great apologies, we have 2 members on Zoom. The law requires that all votes be roll call.
All votes, okay, thank you very much for that clarification, Representative Smith. So I will ask the acting clerk, Representative Tanner, to please call the roll on this amendment. Whenever you're ready, please, Representative Tanner.
Okay. So, Representative Aaron.
Representative Aaron votes yes.
Representative Aaron votes yes. Representative Cowan.
Representative Callen votes yes.
Representative Cowan votes yes. Representative Gottling.
Yes.
Representative Gottling votes yes. Representative Merchant.
Yes.
Representative Merchant votes yes. Representative O'Hearn is absent. Representative Oxyhan, absent. Representative Rollins.
Representative Rollins votes yes.
Representative Rollins votes yes. Representative Smith.
Yes.
Representative Smith votes yes. Representative Spilsbury.
Yes,
Representative Spilsbury votes yes. Representative Stapleton.
Yes.
Representative Stapleton votes yes. The Secretary Tanner votes yes. And Chair Cloutier?
The Chair Cloutier votes yes.
Chair Cloutier votes yes. And Vice Chair Sullivan?
Yes.
Vice Chair Sullivan votes yes.
Okay, so the amendment passes, I believe, unanimously, right?
Yes.
Is that correct? Thank you, Representative Tanner.
11-0.
11-0, thank you. All right, so we go back to the main motion as amended. Are there any other correction amendments to be made to these minutes? Okay, if not seen, none, I will entertain a motion to approve the July 27th meeting minutes as amended.
Mr. Chairman, move to approve the meeting minutes as amended.
Okay, thank you, Representative Smith. Do I have a second on that motion?
Second.
A second by Representative Stapleton. Are we all, again, we're going to need a roll call vote on this motion by Representative Smith with a second by Representative Stapleton. Representative Tanner, when you're ready, could you please call the roll?
Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
Representative Oxenham is trying to get in, there's technical difficulties. She's having a problem with the passcode.
Okay, so she's on by phone?
She's trying to,
Okay, just,
the passcode that she'll be using is 901546.
Can she vote by phone with her picture not up on it?
No, 546.
I don't think so.
Thank you. She had the wrong number.
she had the wrong number? Okay,
She's gonna
zoom in, okay. All right, so you're in the middle of calling a roll, so I think we continue with this roll. If Representative Ott can join us, that's fine, but we should continue.
All right. Representative Aaron.
Representative Aaron votes
Votes.
yes.
Okay.
Representative Aaron votes yes. Representative Callum.
Representative Callen votes yes.
Representative Callum votes yes. Representative Gottling.
Yes.
Representative Gottling votes yes. Representative Merchant.
Yes.
Representative Merchant votes yes. Representative O'Hearn is absent. Representative Oxingham. Unavailable, Representative Rollins?
Yes.
Representative Rollins votes yes. Representative Smith?
Yes.
Representative Smith votes yes. Representative Spilsbury?
Yes?
Representative Spilsbury votes yes. Representative Stapleton?
Yes.
Representative Stapleton votes yes. Representative Tanner, clerk, votes yes. Chair Cloutier?
Chair Cloutier votes yes.
Chair Cloutier votes yes, and Vice Chair Sullivan?
Yes.
Vice Chair Sullivan votes yes, 11-0.
0, okay, so the minutes as corrected pass. Thank you. All right, so let's move on to our next item, item number 5, review of the EFC recommendations on the Sullivan County ARPA funding plan. I will now turn it over to the EFC Chair, Representative Susan Gottling, to tell us what the EFC has recommended so far.
Okay, so I see we have a lot of materials here. I prepared this table, and it probably corresponds with the one that, I guess, County Manager Ferlin, did you prepare this for us?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So we'll just make sure that both of them say the same thing. The first item that we'll consider is the premium pay for essential workers hired before July 1st, 2021. And the item when we received it was that there could be a $500 one-time payment or a $2,000 payment per year for the next 3 years. And the potential cost for that ranged between $120,000 and $1,500,000. Following a lot of discussion, our recommendation was for a one-time payment of $500 and a $2,000 payment for 1 year, paid in quarterly installments for each essential employee. Expenditure from the ARPA not to exceed $570,000. Representative Aaron, would you be interested in making the motion for this recommendation?
No, that's okay. I don't have the thing in front of me, so I'd rather have somebody have the right wording for it.
All right. Well, I think that is the right wording. That Representative Tanner, would you like to do it, please?
Certainly. I would like to make a motion that we approve of one-time payment of $500 and $2,000 payment for 1 year, paid in quarterly installments for each essential employee. Expenditure from ARPA not to exceed $570,000.
Would you, Representative Aaron, would you like to comment on that as if you
We need
had
a
made
second.
the motion?
We need a second.
Pardon me? Oh, we need a second,
Yeah,
yes.
second.
Would you like to second, Representative Aaron?
I'm sorry, what? I can't, I'm not hearing this right.
Okay. I just was asking if you would like to second that motion.
The connection isn't good. I
Okay,
can't.
all right.
Someone else want to second that,
Okay,
please?
somebody else. will.
I'll second.
Representative Merchant, please, thank you.
Right, and Representative Tanner, would you like to speak?
Yes, we had a great presentation particularly by the corrections unit, Corrections Officer Superintendent Barry and his officers about the job and how having a short supply of workers was really hurting everybody and hurting morale, how this payment, and particularly the payment for 1 year paid in quarterly, would really help them in recruiting people, which would make their job safer, would add to retention on the force. And also the same thing would go for the nursing home and the nursing staff And the dietary staff, which is the critical part, I believe, right now in the nursing home, hiring the dietary staff, but for all the staff workers who've worked hard through this pandemic. So I'm pleased to support that motion, my motion.
Would you like to speak to your second?
No, I think Representative Tanner summed it up well.
Oh, I shouldn't be doing this.
Okay, okay. All right, okay, all right, any other further questions? Are we ready for the vote on this motion? That was made by
I call the question.
Representative Tanner and Merchant.
I'll call the question.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, so the clerk, acting clerk, Representative Tanner, will please call the roll on this motion.
Thank you. Representative Aaron.
Yeah, Representative Aaron votes yes.
Representative Aaron votes yes. Representative Callan.
Representative Callum votes yes.
Representative Callan votes yes. Representative Gottling.
Yes.
Representative Gottling votes yes. Representative Merchant.
Yes.
Representative Merchant votes yes. Representative O'Hearn is absent. Representative Oxingham.
Yes.
Representative Oxingham votes yes. Representative Rollins.
Yes.
Representative Rollins votes yes. Representative Smith.
Yes.
Representative Smith votes yes. Representative Spilsbury.
Yes.
Representative Spilsbury votes yes. Representative Stapleton.
Yes.
Representative Stapleton votes yes. Representative Tanner votes yes. Chair Cloutier.
Chair Cloutier votes yes.
Chair Cloutier votes yes. Vice Chair Sullivan.
Yes.
Vice Chair Sullivan votes yes. 12-0.
Okay, 12 to
Motion
0, and the motion passes as recommended by the EFC. Thank you. Next item, lead paintment abatement program, $50,000 to address the funding gap.
I'm going to let Representative Merchant
Okay,
speak to that.
Merchant, speak to this? Okay, go ahead, please, Representative Merchant.
The program for lead abatement was started in Claremont, but it grew into Sullivan County. We went to the county at large because it allowed us to apply for a broader grant and also to have a broader base of people asking for the grant money. So the good news is we actually received the grant money and we're off to a good start. We have approximately 25 units that have been inspected, abatement contracts have been in place, are in progress of being awarded, all to 17. The challenge though is that some of the low-income families cannot afford the owner percentage of it, which is normally around 10%, but it comes about $3,000, sometimes leaving them up to $7,000 in funding gap for them to cover. The good news though is the Sullivan County has recently been approved by CDFA to receive $108,000 in grants. The challenge though is that money's not going to come in until the spring or the summer of 2022, so we have a funding gap, temporary funding gap that we have to close. The initial proposal was before the EFC was a $50,000 grant, using it from the ARPA funding to close some of that gap to allow the program to continue going forward. The EFC said it was a wise expenditure of the funds. We embraced it and supported it. It came out of the committee 5-0. So I make a motion to the full delegation to accept the recommendation from the EFC to use $50,000 from ARPA funds to fill that funding gap of $50,000 in the short term, with the intent that another $108,000 is coming in the spring or the summer to continue the project going forward. So that's where we are with the lead abatement program. It's a great program if you know anything about lead. Any child that gets exposed to lead, particularly at a young age, it's permanent brain damage. You cannot reverse it. So everything we can do throughout the county to eliminate lead, whether it be in paint or any other source, is actually helpful to the county because most of the children won't have brain damage and therefore won't have problems with emotional issues and so forth that come with brain damage.
Okay, thank you, Representative Merchant. Do you wish?
May I second that,
Yes,
Mr.
okay,
Chair?
second, okay. So Representative Merchant, are you going to make a motion to approve?
He did.
Okay, you did. I'm sorry, I apologize. Representative Aaron, yes, I accept your second. So there is a motion now to approve this $50,000 for the lead abatement program. Motion by Representative Merchant, second by Representative Aaron. Are we ready for the vote? Okay, Representative Tanner, would you please call the roll?
Representative Aaron.
Representative Aaron votes yes.
Representative Aaron votes yes. Representative Callum.
Representative Callen votes yes.
Representative Callen votes yes. Representative Gottling?
Yes.
Representative Gottling votes yes. Representative Merchant?
Yes.
Representative Merchant votes yes. Representative O'Hearn is not here. Representative Oxingham?
Yes.
Representative Oxingham votes yes. Representative Rollins?
Yes.
Representative Rollins votes yes. Representative Smith?
Yes.
Representative Smith votes yes. Representative Spilsbury?
Yes?
Representative Spilsbury votes yes. Representative Stapleton?
Yes.
Representative Stapleton votes yes. Representative Tanner votes yes. Chair Cloutier?
Chair Cloutier votes yes.
Chair Cloutier votes yes. Vice Chair Sullivan?
Yes.
Vice Chair Sullivan votes yes. 12-0.
Okay,
Motion
12-0, and the motion passes as recommended by the EFC. Okay, next item, Sullivan County Trails Plan for $25,000. Who wishes to speak to it?
Representative Tanner, I
Tanner?
believe.
Okay.
Will begin.
Okay. Yes, I would like to make a motion that we approve a $25,000 payment to the Sullivan County Trails Plan, which is not the sober housing drug recovery plan, but it's part of the plan of the Sullivan County Sugar River Destination Council. Thank you. And I think it is a key to recreation in Sullivan. One of our outstanding recreational facilities are our natural trails throughout the county, and this actually gives signage and promotion of those trails, and also some recovery of the trails as well.
Okay. Thank you, Representative Tanner. So you made the motion, Representative Tanner, and Representative Stapleton seconded it? Okay, so are we ready for the vote? Okay, the clerk, Representative Tanner?
Representative Callum would like to speak?
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, please,
Sorry,
Representative.
I'd like to ask a question.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
So, is this money to be spent throughout the county, or is it to be spent only on the county complex trails?
Yeah, if I may,
Okay, yes.
my understanding, Representative Callen, this is for trails throughout the whole county. It's identified trails that we have within the county and that are existing, and also do an inventory about what needs to be done with the trails. So it's not only to identify the trails, but also identify what may have to be done to the trails to bring them up to passing, if you will. And the intent here is to make Sullivan County a designation, and one of the things we have as an asset, natural asset here, is the trails. So, but we don't have a good footprint of where those trails are.
Thank you.
Okay, okay, thank you, Representative Merchant and Kellum. Okay, so are we ready for the vote? Okay, the clerk, acting clerk, Representative Tanner, will please call the roll on this motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Representative Aaron?
Representative Aaron votes yes.
Representative Aaron votes yes. Representative Callum?
Representative Callen votes yes.
Representative Callum votes yes. Representative Gottling?
Yes.
Representative Gottling votes yes. Representative Merchant?
Yes?
Representative Merchant votes yes. Representative Oxingham?
Yes.
Representative Oxingham votes yes. Representative Rollins?
Yes.
Representative Rollins votes yes. Representative Smith?
Yes.
Representative Smith votes yes. Representative Spilsbury?
Yes?
Representative Spilsbury votes yes. Representative Stapleton?
Yes.
Representative Stapleton votes yes. Representative Tanner votes yes. Chair Cloutier?
Chair Cloutier votes yes.
Chair Cloutier votes yes. Vice Chair Sullivan?
Yes.
Vice Chair Sullivan votes yes. 12-0.
Okay,
Motion carries.
All right, the motion carries. Thank you very much. Recommended by the EFC. Okay, the next item, I think the delegation already approved that on June 29th and 27th. Oh, I'm sorry. We'll now go to the county attorney item. County,
Could I just?
yes, okay, go ahead, please, Representative Gottlieb. The
I
county
would
attorney
just
is
like
here.
to point out that on what I've handed out, says that under the proposals from the county commissioner, they said they needed no more information and did not have a recommendation. I see on the one that we got today, and that was what the EFC was working from. Today, I see on this one, it says that the Board of Commissioners has voted in favor of this request, and that is not something that we were aware of at the time we took our vote. And Representative Spilsbury, would you like to speak to this issue.
Yes, thank you. I'd be glad to. This is one of the 4 issues that was referred to the EFC. The request of the county attorney, in light of the backlog in the court system due to the closures during COVID, has asked for funds that would support hiring 3 new positions: an assistant county attorney, an administrative assistant, and a victim witness advocate. And the most recent estimate that was presented to the EFC is that this would require $250,000 per year, and the request is for 2 years, so it's a total of $500,000. The list that we had before us when the delegation last met had indicated it might be 314 to 336 in the first year, but I believe this reflects the fact that some of the overhead expenses can be dialed back and they're not recurring. So the request is $500,000. This proposal received a significant amount of discussion in the EFC. Unfortunately, County Attorney Hathaway wasn't able to be with us on that occasion, and therefore the discussion ended up inconclusive. What we did decide is that we should defer this, and I would say that it's now the delegation's opportunity to act or to further defer. The basis for suggesting that we defer was a combination of several things. Number one, it's a significant amount of money. Number two, we don't yet know what the nursing home recommendations will look like and how much we might be trying to find for that. Number three, we didn't have the opportunity to clarify our questions and doubts with the county attorney. Number four, we understand that there are 2 attorney positions that have recently been vacated as a result of resignations, and that the county attorney is attempting to fill them. I don't know the status as of tonight, but as of the time that the EFC meet, those 2 positions were vacant, and so it seemed like the focus should be on filling the already authorized vacant positions before getting authorization for an additional attorney. And finally, I think that there was a fair bit of doubt, uncertainty, expressed by differing members of the EFC as to whether the county courts would in fact be able to get back to full operation during the coming year in light of the Delta strain and other doubts about how institutions are operating even still under COVID circumstances. So it's been deferred back. It's in the delegation's hands. I think the delegation could potentially act on it tonight or could decide to defer it further.
Okay, thank you, Representative Spilsbury. We do have the county attorney here in case members do wish to ask him questions. Welcome, Mr. County Attorney, and thank you for your patience in waiting for other items. So,
where's the best place for me to stand? I fear that if I'm standing here, the other members of the delegation and the public won't be able to see me. Am I best up here? Somewhere in the middle?
Okay, I guess that's all right unless somebody objects.
All right.
I have no problem.
First of all, let me begin by identifying once more the nature of the problem. I can't predict what is going to happen with COVID moving forward, but that circumstances exist with respect to each and every agency, each and every part of government. We do not know what is going to happen next. I can tell you, as I did before, what has already happened. We were shut down for 15 months. We tried no cases, very few cases moved, and we have a backlog that will probably take 2 years to work our way through. When we began, I made mention to you that the last full year that we were operational was 2020, and we had 341 dockets opened that year. In 2021, when we were here last on July 27th, we had 316 dockets open. 1 month later, we have 365 open dockets. The caseload is continuing to build, the backlog remains, and the choke point is trying cases. I presented to you last time we were here the list of cases that were on schedule for the August list, and we had 35 cases scheduled for trial in the Sullivan County Superior Court. 25 of those cases were criminal cases. We tried 2 cases in the 2 trial weeks that we had, and that is a considerable expenditure of resources. As anybody who tries cases know, there's no more inefficient utilization of the court's time than trying cases in terms of moving them. But with this tremendous backlog, there is very little incentive to move cases, so we are going to try a lot of cases. The current next trial list is October. For the October list, we have 2 weeks that are dedicated for criminal trial weeks. We have 37 cases docketed in those 2 weeks, total, criminal and civil, 5 civil, so we have 32 criminal cases. That ratio is going to continue through the next couple of years. We're going to be having dockets that are going to have a large number of cases moving forward each and every trial period. And one of the things that the court is doing, whether it's wise or unwise, I can't answer that, but our drop dead date, in other words, the date on which we know when these cases are actually going to be tried and in what order, is 10 days before the first jury trial starts. Final pretrials are going to be on the 8th of this month, and I can share with you, like I did last time, what that list looks like, and you can give some sense, some sense of the kind of cases and the volume of cases that we're going to be dealing with. Hopefully, we're going to be focusing on, as we have in the past, the most serious cases and the ones that we have incarcerated individuals that are long of tooth, and those that are of importance to the parties and to the members of the community. The 2 cases that we tried in August, one was a non-consensual dissemination of sexual images. It sort of speaks for itself. And the second trial was an aggravated felonious sexual assault trial with 2 minor children victims. Don't know what cases of the 32 that are scheduled that we're going to be trying in October, but we will try at least 2, and if the schedule permits, if they were very short 2, we may be able to get a 3rd in. I understand the 3rd week will be a civil week. There's a large 4-year-old civil case scheduled to go in week 3. I understand and respect the idea that we have 2 open positions. There was nothing remarkable about that, except that we had incredibly talented people who moved on for better positions. We're going to have to fill those positions, and we're going to need the positions that we're requesting in this budget item to be able to professionally, competently, and ethically do our job over the next 2 years and ameliorate this backlog. The idea that we can sit on this backlog and see what happens over the next few months is no more sensible when you look at the County House of Corrections and say, we're going to decide what we're going to do with our staffing model in the next 6 months, and we're going to see if COVID comes back. We have to be ready to continue moving forward. If we're in a situation, it looks like we have a long-term shutdown, we're going to be able to, if they're contract positions, move away from them. We are good stewards of these citizens' money. Always have been, always will be. To the extent that you were not able to answer or ask me any questions, I'm more than happy to answer any questions or concerns that you may have and better try to explain our position. If anyone is interested, I brought 2 copies of the New Hampshire Bar News, and it will show you that all across the state there is a shortage of lawyers, and there's a lot of people are going back online because of backlogs that have been built up. We're part of that. The last 5 pages in the bar, you're probably familiar with that. The last 5 pages in the bar are the ads for services for lawyers. We're there. We hope to be able to fill them. We have 2 interviews this Friday, but I can tell you one thing. We're not going to hire out of desperation. We're going to hire the kind of people that we want in our office for the long term in the 2 positions that we have, and we're going to want to hire people that we're not going to have to babysit and worry about moving forward. We're going to hire the best people. Our dollars will allow us to do so, and we're going to move forward in a cautious manner. To the extent that you have questions, I'm more than happy to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. County Attorney. Questions of the county attorney from members of the delegation? Anybody have any questions? Yes, Representative Merchant, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Attorney Hathaway. When I look through this docket list, how many attorneys are currently working in the office?
We have myself, a deputy county attorney, and an assistant county attorney. We're down 1 in our office. Attorney Gallagher moved on to a very prestigious law firm in Concord. The second position that's open is a contract position. Our office contracts with the city of Claremont. We provide legal services for the city. That attorney moved on to a position with the Department of Safety. So my deputy county attorney is covering that until we fill that position. That will be the hardest position to fill. It's not a starting position. It's a position that requires a seasoned attorney who's capable of handling volume cases, but we will not sell our obligation to the city of Claremont short, and we will meet it in every instance.
So when I see names on this roster that go beyond that number, where are they coming from?
What are those names that you're referring to?
I'm looking for Garrity.
Pardon me?
Garrity, Hirsch.
Gallagher is the gentleman who's left.
No, it says Bucky, Garrity.
Those are defense attorneys.
Okay, what
Paul Garrity is the former U.S. attorney who's now a defense attorney. Ray Bucky is the managing attorney at the Public Defender Program. That list reflects both prosecutors and defense attorneys, and we will oftentimes have additional counsel as the case approaches trial, pairing up with the lead attorney.
So it's also something, Attorney Wickus?
Wickus is a local attorney. She's a defense attorney or a civil attorney. She's a private practitioner.
It says here she's a plaintiff's attorney.
That would probably be a civil case. And
it is.
So she is the person who is bringing the legal action on behalf of her client, and somebody else is the defendant, is the individual who is accused of either the tort or other misfeasance or breach of contract.
So in that case, what involvement does the county office have with it?
We do not. As I indicated to you, there are 37 dockets.
Yeah.
Of those 37, 32 are criminal cases, 5 are civil cases. 1 civil case, the Carroll case, is docketed for the final week of this month, and the remainder are the responsibility of our office.
So the 365 you said earlier, how many of those are criminal and how many of those are civil?
Pardon me?
The 360.
Those are all criminal, those are
All
CR. There's a civil docket,
Yeah,
and then everything that says CR, it says
Criminal.
220, date, year, and then CR means criminal. Those are all cases in my office.
so is there any, if I may?
Oh, yes, please.
Is there opportunity, because we have 2 vacancies, and I saw thank you for sharing the New Hampshire Bar News and the popularity of attorneys these days. Is there any opportunity to go into the private sector temporarily, like you do in agency with the nursing staff? We hire nursing through agencies, and we have them backfill vacancies we can't fill. Is there such a thing in law where you can go out to the civil side and ask for a backfill with attorneys to pick up some of the caseload in the short term?
First of all, I don't believe there is that kind of pool that you can draw from locally. What we'd be doing is we'd be hiring a contract attorney, probably not bringing them into the office, and getting a full benefit package, paying a little bit above our current salary line but without the benefits, and try to contract for that individual for, let's say, a 2-year period at a flat fee. That's probably the most economical way of addressing the issue. Contracting to another firm, you're going to probably divide those resources.
Because what I'm hearing, if I can, Counselor, is that we have vacancies we're having a hard time filling, but which is 2 people, but we're working for funding for a 3rd person, which I don't say we should or shouldn't do, but it sounds like the immediate need right now is those 2 vacancies that we haven't filled yet. Wouldn't that go?
Those vacancies are relatively recent, within the last 30 days. And we will work diligently to fill them. We are not going to fill them just to fill them. We're going to fill them with qualified people who can do the job long-term, who will be able to walk in the door. If we can't do that, we'll wait. My belief is that a warm body is not a substitute for a quality employee who doesn't need a tremendous amount of supervision and who can come in and start assuming the workload. And with respect to the Claremont position, that's absolutely what we're going to need. With respect to the other position in our office, we have enough senior people that we can work with somebody and get a lot of value out of a less expensive, less senior employee. But I've been really a stickler on hiring. We don't compromise in our hiring process. We have very few problems moving forward, and that's an approach that has served me well. So the short-term dilemma that we find ourselves in is, one, it's rather unusual for my office, but it's a function of we have a really hot market and we have really valuable people who were wanted someplace else. And we want to hire people who have the potential to be really valuable people in 3, 4, 5 years down the road, because we're never going to compete with the major firms, okay? But we can take the best and the brightest and work with them and give them value moving forward in their professional careers, and at the same time receiving value back. That's sort of the operational philosophy that we have.
All right, thank you, Representative Murphy. Representative Stapleton, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for taking my question. So if you don't have adequate qualified people to process all of these cases, what's the outcome when they come on the docket? Is it a defer or?
No, it's a poor performance on the part of the state. It's inadequately prepared. One of the things that I alluded to earlier is having all of these cases moving forward, 37 of them on the same time frame. There is no way you're going to be ready for 37. We're going to get about a week or 10 days notice, and we're going to put together probably 6 cases. We're going to have some idea what the cases which are most likely to go. The other thing, that the cases that are most likely to go are the ones most likely to resolve as well. So it's a little bit of a high wire act. And it's a lot of work.
So you need all hands on deck, basically,
We've been all
to see
hands
this.
on deck for quite a while.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be all hands on deck for the next 2 years. And there's just there is no simple solution to this backlog except working through it. One thing I will not do is we are not going to have a fire sale and create a false impression that we do not value the people's business, that we do not value those things that are harming our community, that we are unwilling to protect our most vulnerable populations when they're victimized, unwilling to protect the community from the ravages of substance abuse. We are not going to have a fire sale and say, you know, we're going to give it away. We screen hard. We have generically good cases. In other words, we don't bring a whole lot of charges and hope for the best. But the current backlog is going to make it really hard to stay on top of the things that you need to stay on top as the case moves forward towards trial.
You had a follow-up, Representative Stapleton?
So you're already short, you've been short for a while, and as the days progress, any delay is even worse, exacerbates the problem. And
Yes.
Yeah.
We
And
have
then
to- Go ahead.
if you can't properly prosecute these cases, is there a danger of dismissal?
Well, there's a danger. There's a danger of making a mistake in the production of documents. There's a danger that you're going to not be able to prepare in the way that is best likely to make you successful. There's risk everywhere when your staff, both lawyers and support staff, are overworked.
And the risk extends to the risk to public safety, ultimately.
Ultimately, the risk of public safety. You know, everybody in my office is working probably 70 or more hours a week. And that's just the nature of the beast right now. And when you're trying a case, that's just the nature of the beast and probably a little bit more. And that's okay. That's what you sign up for. But what you really want to make sure is that you can do a professionally responsible job. You have a responsibility to the defendant, you have a responsibility to the citizens of the community, and you have a responsibility to the process. And you can't do that on a shoestring. We want to do it as inexpensively as we can, and I think historically that has been the case. But we're not that. And the other thing is, and I bring this up as a minor aside, but it's not really a minor aside. We're the only county attorney's office in the state that does labor relations. We've done the labor relations for this county for the last 10 years. That is not an inconsequential cost to the county that we have saved. We are representing the county in various litigation matters right now. And we don't bill for that. It just is it's something that historically we've been able to do. We believe that it's value added to the citizens of Sullivan County. We're not prepared to walk away from it at this juncture. Quite frankly, the cost of the additional attorneys that we're talking about, or the resources that we're talking about, if we can successfully cover the costs that the county might otherwise incur doing those labor relations, doing some of the civil litigation. We don't do all of it, but we do some of it. That stuff is taking place at a whole higher pay grade than we are. Okay. And so I think it's a good value for the community, and I think it's a good value for the commissioners and delegates.
Thank you. Other questions of the county attorney from members of the delegation, please?
Just one.
Yes, you have another question, Representative Stapleton.
Will the money that gets approved here tonight help you fill those 2 new vacancies as well as the other needs heretofore expressed, offering a little better pay package, benefits, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, if a contract person will be coming in, if we were to contract out one of the attorney's positions at the top rate there, which is probably a little bit higher than we would like to do, that 120 is a pretty good number. But that's about what you would cost to hire somebody who is fire and forget right now into an attorney's position in our office. So I think there's probably a little bit of room to be very competitive in the marketplace with younger attorneys who might want to get some trial experience to sort of build up a resume to move on to a better firm or a better position sometime in the future. It's very common in our business that takes place. Trial experience is among the most valuable things an attorney can get, and there are not very many places you get it. You get it at the public defender's office, you get it in a prosecutor's office, and you get it in the circuit court with doing small matters for a larger firm.
Thank you. Okay, Representative Spilsbury, followed by Representative Murphy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You said a whole bunch of things that make a lot of sense. Particularly, I think your comment about not just jumping to hire a warm body. You want an attorney who's competent enough to carry the case responsibly without an excessive amount of supervision. So, given that you are particular and selective, what realistically do you think is the time frame for filling those two positions? And then where would the time frame for filling these 3 additional positions fall in light of the answer to the first part of the question?
Don't know. When I hired my last victim witness coordinator, which is that's a position that people really want. We had we had 46 applicants for that position. I hired the third to last, and she's an ace. She's just absolutely a rock star. But the answer is, we're going to be cautious, but we're not going to forget about where we are, the needs that we have. But we're going to be cautious. We're selective. I can't tell you when, but I can tell you the person we hire is going to reflect well upon our office and well upon the citizens of Sullivan County, and is either going to be ready to start at an above average level or have the capability. We might bring somebody into our office who has an incredible mind, an incredible education, well positioned for the position, just no experience. That's what we did with the last 2 people that we brought into the office, and anybody who knows those 2 people would tell you they were really worth the time that we spent investing in them and the time that they gave us back and the service that they've given back has been well worth it. Again, as fast as we can, as slowly as we must, in order to bring in quality people who can serve our needs. A bad hire is the most expensive hire.
Thank you. You're going to follow? Please continue, Representative.
Please. So, are the court, I don't know, have no inkling on this other than what you said about the dockets for October. Is the court back at the pace that it was pre-COVID?
Yes, and then some. In the sense that there's a tremendous push to move things forward. We would not see 35 cases on our trial list. And then we would not see the decision made as to which cases are moving forward taking place a week to 10 days before the trials actually start. That's designed to pressure the litigants to settle. And I don't mean that in a nefarious bad way, but it has a nefarious bad impact on the litigators.
So just to clarify.
Sure, if I wasn't clear.
You believe that the courts are and will continue to accelerate and amplify their resources to try and catch up with this backlog as well.
The answer,
There's a dovetailing between
the answer,
your resources and theirs.
the answer is yes. There's already conversations that they're going to add additional judges to the mix. We're not a full-time county, we're a part-time county. We don't get a judge every day. The court's open in Sullivan County, and we never have. But I expect that will be coming. But right now, I don't know when you've got one courtroom that the pace can pick up that much in terms of jury trials. You're going to probably be able to pick up a couple of the extra months because we do alternating months with jury trials. We did July, we did
August, October, I believe you said.
August, October, yeah. But long story short, the answer is the court recognizes the backlog. Quite frankly, I was disappointed, and I remain disappointed, that we didn't view ourselves as essential enough to continue working through the pandemic. I know that's not a popular position, but I believe that the function that we perform is every bit as important as runnings in McDonald's.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, Representative Merchant, followed by Representative Sullivan and Smith, please.
The questions I had were addressed by
Okay.
Representative Spilsbury.
Okay, good.
We also have Representative Smith as well.
Thank you, Representative Merchant. Representative Sullivan, please, followed by Representative Smith.
There's been some talk about there being 2 openings now, plus the one that would be created by this program.
Yes, there's one opening in my office, and one who's the prosecutor, the police prosecutor, who's a contract position. Claremont pays for that. We provide the attorney and the supervision. When that attorney left, it was on relatively short notice. We have to fill it, and we are.
Understood. Is there more efficiency in trying to fill 3 positions at the same time than there is at filling 2 and then 1?
I think you wait. I would love 3 good people to fall into my lap, and then I would want to hire them all. Okay, because as I said earlier, a weak hire or a bad hire is the worst hire. The way I look at it is we have 2 interviews this Friday, and it's been really slow. The inbox has been slow. I can't tell you when we're going to be able to fill these positions, but we're going to work at it diligently. And
Yeah, continue, please, Representative Sullivan.
Just to be clear, though, is it better for you to have 3 openings now, or to have 2 openings now and 1 a little ways down the road?
well, I think it's better to have 3 openings now. I view the position in Claremont as my most difficult to fill position, simply because of the skill set requires somebody who is fire and forget, and at a volume prosecution setting, okay? That's what the circuit court is. There's a lot of decision-making that has to take place in a relatively short period of time. The dockets are lengthy, and the rights of the litigants are no less important, but the scale of the problem is a little bit smaller. So that's my most difficult position to fill. The other 2 positions, we absolutely need at least 1 in our office as soon as we can, but again, I'm not going to make a poor hire. So we're going to fill them as quickly as we can, but we're going to fill them with a responsible eye towards the long-term gain that we're hoping to achieve. We don't want to marry the wrong one.
Representative Smith, please.
Thank you. Inquiry of the chair.
Yes, go ahead, please.
With my apologies for not paying better attention, do we have a motion yet?
I don't think, no, we do not have a motion on this item.
No, because
May I make one?
Okay, yes. Yes, you may make a motion, Representative Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to authorize the expenditure of up to $500,000 in ARPA funds for the county attorney's office temporary staffing.
Okay, the motion by Representative Smith, do I have a second on that?
I second it.
Okay, second, I heard Representative Rollins first. So a motion by Representative Smith, second by Representative Rollins, to authorize an expenditure up to $500,000 for the county attorney's temporary staffing. Are there any further questions or comments, either yes, Representative Sullivan, you have a question, please.
Since I'll have the opportunity to vote last, influencing absolutely no one at the time, I guess I just wanted to say that I would support this motion. I think it's one we're going to have to do down the road, and I'm persuaded that working on 3 openings at once, if you get 2 attorneys that fit well into your office, you can hire them both and get them both started, and if the Claremont one takes longer because it's more difficult to hire, you can struggle with that a little bit longer. But if you get 2 of the right kind, you can hire them both, so I support doing this now.
Thank you. Representative Smith and Rollins, do you want to make further comments?
Oh, I do. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Before somebody notices, the numbers that we got in the cost estimate shake out to $520,000 if you scale it out over 2 years. Having known the county attorney and worked with him for 11 years, I have full confidence he'll make this work without the extra 20 grand.
Okay, thank you,
I don't wish to give you the wrong impression. That 20,000 is a one-time expenditure for setup. That's not both years. So I know I come out ahead, but I also don't want to mislead you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. County Attorney, Representative Smith. Representative Rollins, did you want to say anything? I want to be sure you don't want to cut
Just
you
one
off.
question. With the personal bail laws that we have now, COVID delaying trial, how many repeat offenders are you seeing before they go to trial for a previous offense? Is it a higher number than we?
A whole lot. It is incredibly frustrating. It's incredibly frustrating. One of the things that we do that is so, not very many other places are doing. There's a certain part of the bail statute, it's not part of the bail reform statute, but it's part of the bail statute that says that you can, if you notice up on release, in your charging document, that you'll be able to get a second sentence if that offense was committed while the person was on release from a New Hampshire bail order. We routinely do that. And we do it because, one, the public really should know how this is working. And one of the simplest ways of communicating that to the public is when you charge somebody, put on release on those offenders that are in fact committing offenses on release. Second thing is, it gives you another sentence. It doesn't give you another charge, but it gives you another sentence that you have to use carefully, but it's nevertheless there. COVID bent the arc of deterrence. As I said last time we were here, our House of Corrections, after a year and I think it's 4 months of no trials, had a lower average daily population than it did when we started COVID. That means that the people who would traditionally have been detained on bail orders were not. And that tradition is continuing. We're not detaining people who historically society would have said had forfeited their rights to remain amongst us out on bail while awaiting trial. It is a very serious public safety problem. It's not something that we're going to solve in this room, but yes, it is adding to our backlog. And if you take a look at the cases on there, you may see quite a few on releases.
Okay, yes, Representative Merchant, do you have a question?
One question, and just one clarification. The $500,000, is this for 1 year?
No, that's for the 2 years.
So we're going to go over 2 budgets?
Yes, if need be.
I would suggest we amend the motion that we have $250,000 per budget year versus $500,000 in a budget year. So we don't have to roll it over So we make it $250,000 per budget year to avoid that issue, because we'll come at the end of the budget year, and we'll have to reallocate it again the next year.
I think that maybe it's a question for somebody who's more well-versed in the ARPA, whatever.
I don't know.
I think you gotta do it now.
I'm sorry, Smith and Rollins being open to amending their motion, or just change?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. What's the deadline to have the money allocated?
That's what I'm worried about, yeah.
I think it has to be committed, not allocated.
And I think what we're doing is committing.
We're committed.
Okay, just a minute, maybe let the county manager answer this question, just one question. When do we have to commit this money on the county attorney or any ARPA money, just to be clear?
It has to be obligated by December 31st, 2024, and spent by December 31st, 2026. But because this is in the middle of a budget cycle, I'd be a little concerned that if we are tying it to a budget cycle, it's going to leave the county attorney in a bit of a precarious position. The 24-month clock ought to start when he fills the positions, I would think. The money, because this already is a deferred revenue in terms of the entire ARPA allocation, it really doesn't need to be pegged to a budget cycle. So if we set the up to $500,000 limit for 24 months and we start that 24-month clock when the county attorney is able to fill those positions, then we can manage it accordingly and still beat the December 31st, 2026 deadline technically, because we'd have the money obligated.
Okay, Representative Sullivan, sorry, his report, and then Representative Martin.
I guess I favor doing the whole thing all at once. Basically, we've got ARPA money now. The nursing home project is going to come. I anticipate that we'll spend the rest of what we've got when that happens. And we could end up spending the money that we're intending to spend on this program, and then all of a sudden, the rest comes out of the budget.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I think let's do it all now, earmark it, set it aside.
Okay, thank you, Representative. So Representative Merchant, do you have anything else? I'm sorry.
And Mr. Chair, I have my hand up.
Okay, I don't know, Representative, if you don't mind, Representative Merchant, I'll come back to you. Representative Aaron, please.
Okay, thank you. I support this motion, and
Thank you.
I'm looking at the numbers, just doing some quick math. And it looks to me that,
Okay, Representative
with-
Aaron, yes, your question, please?
yeah, so my question is, it seems to me, and I'd like to confirm that,
Is she muted? I don't know, maybe that's.
Hear her, but it's very, very dim.
Yeah, okay, I can hear, yeah, I can't, sorry, we can't understand you we're hearing you, but can't understand your question. I'm sorry, Representative Aaron.
I'm not muted. Can you hear me now?
Just a minute, we're trying to adjust the audio.
Try again.
So can you hear me now?
We can hear you now, thank you, Mr.
Okay, so I didn't really have a question other than a comment that with this expenditure, we're only spending 16%, around 16% of our total ARPA allocation, and it seems to me that this is money well spent. This particular item of $500,000 represents only a 6% of the total ARPA funds. So I think it's very well spent money. I support this.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Representative Aaron. Representative Merchant, please.
No, I just wanted to thank Representative Sullivan and also Representative Smith explaining to me about the ARPA funds and so forth. Having it done within, my concern was the budgetary cycle. That, according to what I'm hearing, is there's no need to worry about the budgetary cycle. So without an impact on the budgetary cycle, then I have no issue with the allocation over budgets.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Representative Merchant. Okay, are we ready for the vote now on this motion? Okay, Representative Tanner, the acting clerk, could you please call the roll?
Question.
Oh, okay, Representative, yes, what question?
So that motion to split it has been withdrawn, is that right?
Never happened.
Never happened.
So the motion as I have it right now is to approve and authorize $500,000 for the county attorney's office for staffing and expenses from the ARPA funds for a period of 24 months.
Okay, so we're back to the original motion.
Always been there.
Yep.
Okay,
Thank you, Representative Stapleton. Thank you, everybody else, for helping clarify. Okay, go ahead, please, Representative Tanner.
Representative Aaron.
Representative Aaron votes yes.
Representative Aaron votes yes. Representative Callum?
Representative Callum votes yes.
Representative Callum votes yes. Representative Gottlieb?
Yes.
Representative Gottlieb votes yes. Representative Merchant?
Yes.
Representative Merchant votes yes. Representative Oxingham?
Yes.
Representative Oxingham votes yes. Representative Rollins?
Yes.
Representative Rollins votes yes. Representative Smith?
Yes.
Representative Smith votes yes. Representative Spilsbury?
Yes.
Representative Spilsbury votes yes. Representative Stapleton?
Yes.
Representative Stapleton votes yes. Representative Tanner votes yes. Chair Cloutier?
Chair Cloutier votes yes.
Chair Cloutier votes yes. Vice Chair Sullivan?
Yes.
Vice Chair Sullivan votes yes. Unanimous, 12-0.
Well, and the motion passes. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
for your support.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. County Attorney. Okay, I believe that finishes all the ARPA funds that were considered by the ESC. Now we will go to any other new business. The thing is and I had a phone conversation yesterday with Commissioner Hebert, and Commissioner, I did want to give you a chance to talk if you want to, because I know I'm concerned about any misunderstandings about our role in addressing ARPA funds. So if you had some concerns, more than happy to listen whether we'll do anything tonight. But I think it's important that both branches of county government, the executive and the listen to one another.
I don't have any concerns. I feel that we can work together.
Work together. Okay, so you don't want to speak. Okay. All right.
I think things will be fine.
Okay, good. All right. I just want to be clear, Commissioner. Yes, Representative Sullivan, please.
Just so we are clear, there's been I was at the last delegation meeting, the convention, and there was an understanding that the ARPA money was not a grant, and it would be moved through the EFC and back to the delegation as it has. At the commissioners' meeting that I attended, there was some discussion as to whether or not the commission had the authority to simply appropriate the money without any input from the EFC or the delegation. And I just want to be clear as to whether or not we are committed to going through the process we just completed with any future designation of ARPA funds, or for that matter, infrastructure funds that might get dumped on us, I hope. But basically, are we committed to this process, or are we up in the air as to who has the authority to do what?
Well, to me, I don't think the authority, I respect the delegation and I respect the process the way it's been, and I think it's always worked. I would prefer to see things move the way they always have. And, you know, there's gonna be disagreement along the way, but if the commissioners do have control of those funds, we're not gonna use any of those funds without approval of the delegation and the EFC. I think that's the process that is set, and that's the way the county's always worked. I don't foresee that changing, unless you would like it to change. I don't think the commissioners feel, like things should be any different than they always have been.
Oh, yes, go ahead, please, Representative Sullivan.
If that's your perspective, if that's the word that you're giving us, then that's good for me.
Okay, and I just, as a chair's aside, I want to try to prevent any misunderstanding, so I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I sort of promised you after our phone conversation yesterday, I just wanted, we should not have any misunderstandings, and that's good, I'm glad to hear that. And let's hopefully continue working it. We're not always going to agree, but hopefully we respect one another, and as I said, try to keep everybody in the loop. And
We all represent the same people, the same county.
Yep.
And there's no reason why we can't, come to agreements on what the county needs and what has to be done to support the taxpayers of this county.
Thank you very much for your remarks, Commissioner Hebert. Is there anything else? We'll move on. Anything else under new business? Yes, go ahead, Representative Stapleton, please.
I would like to ask if it's possible for the nursing home work group to give us even a rough, quick update as to the progress of that group, even if it's as simple as meeting timelines behind it, ahead of it, or any other pertinent details that we could know about.
Okay, Representative Sullivan, if you want to give us an update, quick update, please.
Sure. I don't know why I'm losing my voice, but I am. We've met 3 times. At our first meeting, just to try to really encapsulate it, we went through some common goals of the 5 on the work group. We sort of set some agenda items looking forward. Second meeting, we went through an exercise of where's the money, figuring out exactly what costs what in this project budget, to avoid chasing pennies if what we need to find are dollars. So we went through that. Mary Bork was very helpful with that. This week we had the architect and building
Construction manager.
Construction manager in to basically give us some insight as to how these projects are put together, give us some insight as to what's possible and what's not in terms of adjustments, and the implications of adjustments. So very informative, over 2 hours of discussion, and we've got, I think, 3 more meetings coming. We'll be moving on to looking at options and evaluating options in the coming weeks.
Okay, thank you, Representative Sullivan, for that update. Okay, any other, okay, we basically are under old business now. Any other old business anybody has to bring up? Okay, under announcements, I just have, by the way, getting back to Don Clark, if you read in the obituary, his visiting hours, and I plan to go to represent the delegation on February 17th at the Stringer Funeral Home, and then his funeral is on Saturday, September 18th at 11 a.m., just for your information. You may, great obituary about the late Commissioner Donald Clark. The other thing is, you should look out in your house calendar on Thursday, September 23rd at 9 a.m. There's going to be a breakfast at River Valley College for local legislators, I think not only in our county, but Lebanon and Keene, because I'm not sure of that. But I think all of you will be invited. It will be in this week's house calendar under my name. It will run for every week. The house calendar comes out until the 23rd. But again, if you're interested in the future of River Valley Community College, mark your calendars for Thursday, September 23rd at 9 a.m. for the breakfast, just for your information. So I think with that, unless anybody has anything else, I will entertain a motion to adjourn, please.
Move to adjourn.
A motion by Representative Smith. Do I have a second? Second by Representative Sullivan. Okay, and I guess we'll have to have a roll call.
How about, inquiry of the chair?
Yes.
May I retract my motion?
Okay.
May I suggest that if you were to say without objection, this meeting is
Okay,
adjourned?
yeah, thank you. We should have listened to you the first time, the last time. Thank you. Any objection, I will adjourn the meeting. Thank you very much, everybody.
I didn't withdraw my.
Okay, I hope you withdrew your second. Sorry about that. Thank you very much. Representative Smith, I'm glad I got the deputy speaker on the delegation.